Hello arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight we're doing my 90-second chill and chat live. Normally we do these on a Sunday evening, but tonight we're doing it on Monday. I'm going to start doing this just randomly rather than having one day a week, same time every week. I'm just going to kind of pick a time that's most convenient, I feel like, for myself. That way I can give you guys the best content and, you know, provide you with the news and information you guys need when you want to see it. So whenever there's something big, maybe I'll stream 2 times a week, you know, so it really just kind of depends. And we have a lot to discuss tonight. You know, things really turned around for home arcade this week. A lot of different subjects I wanted to discuss with you guys tonight. So perfect opportunity is Monday night here at 6 p.m. Pacific. I know that Michael B streams at this time as well, and normally I try to not to overlap these streams, but I mean, we've already heard the guy. I think this is his 3rd time to stream this week. So if you want to continue to hear him talk, you know, you can certainly tune into him, or if you want to hear something different, you know, tune into Biggie D's Arcade tonight, get a little bit different opinion, different news possibly. We'll have to see. So welcome. Hope everyone's having a good night. Let's say hi to everyone who's made it in the chat so far. We've got Calvin Wong with the smiley face. Good to see you, Calvin. We got Papa Brad's Gaming saying, hello, gamers, using his emojis because he is a member of the channel. So for 99 cents, guys, less than $1, you can become a member of the channel for less than $1 a month and get to use these emojis. And you have a special badge next to your name that was customized, created just for this channel. And Rexer Show says, what the fuck, 90-second, Jesus. Yeah, so 90-second stream. I've done almost 100 of these. Hard to believe that we've almost hit 100. So we'll definitely have to do something special here in just a couple of months to celebrate, because that's a huge accomplishment to be able to come on live, to speak your mind for hours, you know, a couple hours each week, and be able to do that 100 times is a pretty big accomplishment. So definitely want to reward those who watch, all the viewers, and do possibly some big giveaway for our 100th episode. We got Papa Brad's Gaming says, go random, especially over the top mid-roll, Mike. Hopefully you guys don't get any mid-roll ads on this stream. I did set them up to hit right at the start, but you shouldn't get any after that, hopefully. Headshake TV's here saying, what's up, brother? Good to see you, Headshake. Glad you made it to the stream tonight. Rexer Show saying, Biggie, things turned around for the worst, LOL. He slept on X Arcade. Yeah, a lot of us have not picked up the X Arcade yet, but we really need to. We're going to talk about it tonight. It just got way better, especially if you're big into pinball and you've been playing the Pinball FX VR. Way Too Fast Joe says, what's up, everyone? Good to see you. And then Papa Brad's Gaming, he has just said, I threw $1 to Biggie D a month. Must be talking about the membership. The dollar memberships are 99 cents. Kevin Clausen, he just gifted a membership to Pixelated Traveler. 99 cents for a membership is too little, too steep for my blood. Is a little too steep for my blood. I put it the lowest amount. So $1 was the least amount I could do. If I, you know, just wanted to get some support coming in, but I don't expect you guys to do like $5 memberships. I know 19-cent Fox, he'll do basically $5 memberships just in order to watch them. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. He's not by any means a celebrity or someone you need to pay to watch. The fact that people are paying $5 for that's absolutely insane. So I do the lowest amount, 99 cents, and that's just for a membership, and that's optional. You guys do not have to pay to watch Biggie D's Arcade. Mikey Yoon is here saying, hey, what's up, Biggie D? Good to see you. Papa Brad Gaming, he just gifted 5 memberships to Biggie D's Arcade. That's huge. Thank you, Papa Brad. Israel Gaming, Science Spirits, Calvin Wong, B Kirby, and E Leo all got memberships. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Get hyped. We've got memberships coming in. Free memberships thanks to Papa Brad's Gaming. That is awesome to see. GeForce guy is here. He's saying, dude, it is true. I hear 1UP sold the form factor to Basic Fun. Does that mean MK is coming? LOL. Interesting point. I think this is all very interesting what's happening right now. Everything that hit yesterday, I guess it was, the news, as far as Basic Fun and these new cabinets that they're making. There's a lot behind this, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, GeForce, because that's exactly where we're going to start this show tonight, is on the Basic Fun. So let's take a look, guys, at what Basic Fun is. I mean, basically, Basic Fun is a company that we've talked about here for some time. They've made these small miniature-sized micro-scale arcade machines for a long time, since 2018, 2019. They've been competing a lot with My Arcade specifically, but also New Wave Toys and Quarter Arcades and all those as well, just making these smaller form factors. And they've been successful. I mean, they've got the major ones, Tetris, Pac-Man, all those, Miss Pac-Man. So they've got some good licenses, but they've only made these small miniature scale arcades. So what was the big news? Well, the big news, if you guys have not heard yet, this hit yesterday on the Arcade 1UP Facebook group, and you may have caught a live stream or two yesterday already talking about this. But it is the toy book feature article on Basic Fun, and basically what they're going to do is they're going to be bringing 3/4 scale arcades, just like what Arcade 1UP was doing, to the market starting this year, right before the holiday season. Their 3 initial ones that they're going to do is WrestleFest, Centipede, and Tempest. So you're going to have your selection of, 2 classics as well as like a 90s classic and WrestleFest, which we've never seen before. So this is an entirely new home arcade. And Kevgret's here. He's saying, is home arcade back? Home arcade is back, guys. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Home arcade is back. All right. We are back, baby. Basic Fun. Arcade 1UP's not making it, but that's okay because it's just like what Arcade 1UP made. So let's take a look at these. We've got 3 that are featured in this magazine, in this article. The first one is going to be this 3/4 scale deluxe, what I would call a 3/4 scale, just like the deluxe style cabinet, WrestleFest. By looking at the people standing up in front of it, it looks like it's about the exact same size as what we've seen in the Arcade 1UP. It's going to have the 4-player game deck. It's going to have very similar, if not the same exact coin door. The dimensions, the mold, everything is very reminiscent of what Arcade 1UP has done already. So it made me start thinking, like, why is this happening? Why isn't Arcade 1UP doing it? Why is Basic Fun all of a sudden making these cabinets that look identical at the same time that Arcade 1UP is not putting out anything? So like GeForce had just mentioned, Arcade 1UP only really has the license for Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Mortal Kombat, and the X-Men 97. Those are really like the only cabinets that they're making right now. NBA Jam, I think they still have. So why is it that they're only making these cabinets, and then all of a sudden Basic Fun comes in to the picture? And we knew about this leading up to this. Early this year, we heard Basic Fun was going to be making a whole bunch of cabinets. this was going to be coming. We just didn't know that it was going to be coming this soon. There was not much lead up. It just got announced in this magazine. So it got me looking into this a little bit more. Evidently, Basic Fun, their headquarters is in Boca Raton, I think I said it right, Florida, which is right outside of Miami. And if you guys know, Arcade 1UP's headquarters is in Miami. So is it just a coincidence that you have two companies in the toy business that are making cabinets exactly in the same way, even using some of the same licenses that like Arcade 1UP is used with Centipede and Tempest that we're going to see today? Is all this just happening by coincidence, or is Arcade 1UP now handing this business over to Basic Fun in some like slow rollout process where we're like, we'll give you guys some of these licenses, we'll give you our our patent on these designs and this manufacturing, we'll get you in contact with these factories, and you guys can start producing this stuff, because we don't have an ability to do that right now. We're just trying to keep our business alive, still trying to stay in business. Why don't you guys take some of this product and make it, and you can just pay us like royalties? That's what I think is happening, is even though we don't have anything like news, anything in writing saying that Arcade 1UP has sold some of their business to Basic Fun, it sure looks that way. And I certainly think that Arcade 1UP's playing a large part in what we're seeing with these new cabinets. They're allowing this to happen, and they're working in partnership with Basic Fun to help them make this happen, is what it appears to me. And like I said, it's just coincidental that they're in the same area of Florida, they're in the same business, and they're doing the same products now. So I think this was all meant to happen this way, and this has been planned out for a long time. That's why we haven't seen Arcade 1UP make anything basically, in a year or more, is they've been working behind the scenes on this to make sure that Basic Fun can pick up this business and make it, they can still somehow make a profit. So that's my 2 cents on it. That's what I think is happening, is Arcade 1UP is working in partnership with Basic Fun to produce and make these cabinets, which, the way they're going to do this is a very quick turnaround. These are going to come out right before Christmas. So we're talking just here in a few months. So a lot of these, I think, and I saw Bill's video and his commentary on it, a lot of this stuff has probably already been shipped over. And when I say Bill's Retro Show, a lot of this is already being shipped over, through the ports already. So it may not be subject to some of the tariffs, things like that, that are coming, that are about to happen. These may have already been shipped and already here in the US. So they're going to be able to sell a lot of this stuff for reasonable prices. Maybe $200 is what the article said in the magazine, up to like $600. So the 200 is probably like this countercade we're looking at, which is an Atari Tempest countercade. Looks like very similar controls, maybe some extra buttons on this one, little different form factor, but overall it looks very similar to like the Arcade 1UP countercades, with a license that they've already had, with very similar, it looks like almost identical controls. Just take off the Arcade 1UP logo, put a Basic Fun logo on it, and there you go. You're off to the races. And then you've got Centipede here, which is their other Atari cabinet. This is going to be their 3/4 scale deluxe style cabinet. This is very reminiscent of the deluxe, if you guys remember, just a couple years ago. Actually, I think this model that we're seeing, the Centipede, actually came with a riser. It wasn't a deluxe. But from the top to where the riser would have started, looks almost identical, except for that Atari logo on the side there towards the top. They were able to fit that artwork all the way up, where they just kind of made it stop there at the game deck, put the Atari logo towards the top, and it's missing a coin door. Except for that, it's pretty much identical to what we've already seen. So why is that happening? Why are they getting not only the same licenses that Arcade 1UP, but very similar, if not the same designs? That's what leads me to believe these are going to be, Arcade 1UP cabinets with the Basic Fun name on it. So that was what came out of here, was the from this toy book article, was these 3 cabinets. So WrestleFest, Centipede, and Tempest. And let's just kind of take a look at these cabinets a little bit closer, each one of them, because we've got some pretty good images from this article that we can look at. So this is the WrestleFest, like I said, 4-player game deck, almost identical game deck to what you were seeing with like the TMNT, all the Konami cabs, so X-Men, Simpsons, as well as what other ones? NBA, the original NBA Jams had this game deck. Looks like it's the flat one. It's not the slanted style one like Blitz had or the NBA Deluxe had. It's just that flat. So they're almost going backwards. I kind of like to say what they're doing with this is they're going back to the basics. Ironically, it's called Basic Fun. That's exactly what they're doing. They're just going back to what made Arcade 1-Up successful in the beginning, in their 2019, 2018, what made them successful. And that was just bringing a cabinet design with good artwork, with the games, the ROMs, actual arcade ROMs, and then just making it as low cost as possible. And that's what it looks like. These are going to be coming in at a very low, reasonable price. I mean, these may be $4.99. They're saying they could be up to $5.99. But what I see happening is these are going to be in retail, right? So they're going to be in Best Buy. They're going to be in Walmart. They're going to be in Sam's. They're going to be in Costco. And when you see a lot of this and they got a lot of inventory, they're going to be marking these down. And we're going to be getting back into like the videos I used to do, the deal videos, where we have like a red alert, Basic Fun deal alert going on right now, where you may be able to get this cabinet for $199 right after Christmas, early January. You may be able to get this cabinet for $200. And that's, all the cabinets I have behind me, I've all bought at $200, $250. The most I've ever paid for one is $300. So that's what I see, and what I like about all this isn't those MSRP prices, but at least those MSRP prices are reasonable. So those will even get marked down further. We're looking at possibly $200 to $300 per cabinet. So that's great. If I could get a WrestleFest cabinet at those kind of prices, I would certainly be interested in getting one. I have WrestleFest on my iArcade, and I've been able to play it on there. I've got all the wrestling games. I've also got the WrestleMania, Retromania artwork. So the Wrestle games all fit on that cabinet. But I think this is great, especially for the wrestling fans, but also for those that have nostalgia for the game. Like for me, and for instance, growing up playing these games, wasn't a huge wrestling fan, but I really enjoyed the games, really enjoyed Hulk Hogan during this time. This would be a fun one to have in the arcade, I feel like. A lot of people would enjoy having this one. It looks great. Also, looking at the artwork, it really reminds me of that Retromania iArcade cabinet that I have. I was wondering why they did all those like neon streaks all over it along the kick plate, and now I'm finally seeing why all that happened that way and why it looks that way. So they were trying to emulate that WrestleFest look. So that's another good thing, having the Retromania Wrestling iArcade. I think it just, a lot of the games like I play or the shows that I watch that I pick up that I didn't pick up initially is because like they're doing like a season 2 of the show, like The Last of Us, right? Or Peacemaker. I didn't watch the first season of Peacemaker, but I'm about to watch the second, or I want to watch the second season that they're about to come out with. So I'm going to go watch the first season that I never would have been inclined to watch if they hadn't done the second. It's kind of the same thing with this, right? I haven't been playing a ton of the wrestling arcade games, but now that this is coming out, I'm going to start playing more of WrestleFest on my iArcade. I'm also going to start appreciating the artwork on my Retromania iArcade more because I know there's a WrestleFest cabinet coming, and a bunch of people are going to buy the WrestleFest. So it's just kind of like being a part of that community, just kind of being a part of what everyone else is doing, and like the, for instance, with the shows or the movies, just staying up to date with culture and what people are interested in is just, fun to be a part of that. So same thing with this. This is going to be part of, history that for the first time ever, WrestleFest 3/4 scale, toy arcade is made. So, I mean, it's a big deal, especially for a lot of us that have collected these and have followed this stuff over the years. So big deal, I think, in this news. Big accomplishment for Basic Fun to be able to pull this off, especially with Arcade One Up, possibly getting to the point of going out of business, maybe not ever being able to make these again. To be able to hand this over to another company and assist them in a process of making these and producing these to where we can still get them is awesome that they were able to make all that happen. So basically, like I said, home arcade is back, guys. This is essentially Arcade One Up all over again with a new company that has a lot more money and probably is a lot more financially set up to withstand, the tariffs and all the things coming than Arcade One Up was. So we are lucky as customers, as fans, to be able to say Basic Fun was able to pull this off. So that's WrestleFest. Let's take a look at Centipede. And we'll also look at some comments here in the chat as well. Kevin saying, Biggie, do you think the Pacers can upset Oklahoma City? So quickly, because we don't have a sports segment tonight, I want to talk about this quickly, Kevin. So yeah, the Pacers, Indiana Pacers, they beat the New York Knicks in 6 games convincingly. And now you've got Halliburton, which is, I think, possibly the best player in the NBA now, going into the NBA Finals against, I think, the best team in the NBA, which is OKC. I mean, they're loaded with talent. And they have the MVP in SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So this is going to be a really tough matchup. I think Indiana has the best player, but I think OKC has the best team. And I think the team is what's going to win the finals in the end. I'm going to say OKC in 5 games. That's my prediction. I give the Pacers 1 game. It'll be a gentleman's sweep. And OKC is going to bring home the trophy for the first time. And that's going to be huge for that city. And it's a small city, too. Oklahoma City, that's the only sports team they have. I can just imagine how big of a deal that's going to be for them. And get used to it. Get used to the Thunder because they have a really young team as well. So they're only going to get better as long as they can hang on to those guys. It's only up from here. So a lot of people are saying dynasty. They may win 2-3 over the next 4 years. So get used to the Thunder. But yeah, I think Pacers, great for them. Congratulations to that team. Rick Carlisle, I remember him in Dallas. He was such a great coach. I hated that they got rid of him. Even though I like Kidd, Jason Kidd's great. I think Rick Carlisle was the answer. He's a championship coach. He's proven it time and time again. And now he's in the finals. I don't think he's got enough as far as talent on his team to pull it off and win the whole thing. But, man, he's done a great job getting them as far as he had. But, yeah, OKC, they're the best team in the NBA by far. They can turn it on. It's like a light switch for them. They can just turn it on out of nowhere. So, OKC, I give them the title 5 games. That's my prediction. So we're looking at WrestleFest. We're about to look at Centipede. Kev Gret says, I just sold my real Golden Tee, Silver Strike, and X Arcade. Bring on Basic Fun. Yeah, I know. You've got this amazing arcade, Kev Gret, you've been building with these machines, and just to go back to some of these smaller 3/4 scale probably isn't for you. You've got a big house. You've got plenty of room. You're probably going to be where you're at for a long time. Why not, build up a huge arcade there? Me, I'm in an apartment. I'm lucky to even have this small little room I'm in to have these machines in here. So the smaller, the better. I mean, these 3/4 scale are like the biggest I can fit in here. Even the Arcade One Up XLs wouldn't have fit as nicely and as well placed as I have these 3/4 scale. So think there's definitely a market for them. A lot of younger people are buying the 3/4 scale. They're not into homes yet. So I think they're right on where they need to be. Keep making these sizes. Kevin Clausen says, God, I hope they don't put a Basic Fun logo on these. Well, you are going to get the Basic Fun logo. And the good news is it's not everywhere. You may only see it like once, very small on the side panel, once on the marquee, and then once on the bezel. But outside of that, you're not going to see it much. They're not trying to make it where you're going to buy it because it's Basic Fun. You're buying it for the game itself and those logos. Kevgret says reasonable $4.99 for firewood. So I think you're paying a lot more than you're paying $500. I think you're paying a lot more for than just the wood or the what do we call this, particle board that these are made out of. You're paying for the license. You're paying for the ROM. All those are a lot of what, and then the development cost, all that to make this happen. So if you're a big fan of this franchise, you're a big wrestling fan, this is going to be a must-have. And it's not, that's what you're paying for, is the name, the brand, the logos, and all that, which they've had to change a lot. Let's bring that up as well. It was WWF WrestleFest. It's now called the WWE. So I was able to look this up on the article. It is going to be officially called the WWE WrestleFest cabinet. That's officially what it's going to be called. But if you look at the logo, they just took the F off of it, and it's just WW WrestleFest. So they were able to keep that original logo, which I think was cool. And I guess make sure that WWE is okay with it, but they were able to get that approved, and I think it looks great. They were able to recreate that original arcade artwork without too many sacrifices. So I think they did a really good job, and I think they're right where they need to be as far as cost right now. Papa Brad's Gaming says Biggie D is ready for the closeouts. Yes, that's where I do my shopping, is when these start going on discounts, steep discounts, and getting them at those low-cost prices. Brooklyn Menace is here saying wrestling fans who don't own any arcade cabinets will want this. Yeah, I think this is going to be a big one. I mean, think about how long it's been since we've gotten any arcades like this. It's been over a year. People are going to buy them just for that reason alone, but also the name, the game. This is something we haven't gotten before. We haven't gotten a wrestling game from Arcade One Up before. We did get that Sega cabinet, and it had a Sega wrestling game, but it's not the same. It was like a vertical style, different game entirely. Shotgun Sean says, I will not shave my head. Sports, oh no, I'm out. We've just had that brief segment there just to touch upon the finals. I wanted to talk about that. All right, so Centipede, guys. This is the second cabinet we're going to discuss. This is your 3/4 size deluxe style cabinet with the Atari licensed Centipede. No coin door. Has two Atari logos, one on the kick plate, one on the side panel we can see. But outside of that, everything looks exactly like what we had in the Arcade One Up with the deluxe form factor. Outside of that, we don't know about gameplay. We don't know about additional games. That's another question, is this a single game cabinet? It's looking like it will potentially be a single game cabinet. So would you guys buy WrestleFest with just one game? And would you buy Centipede with just one game? Also, would you buy and would you play WrestleFest if it's not online? Would you play it in its classic original way in which you were to go to an arcade and just coin up and play there by yourself? Or if you have a friend over or a family member over, you're playing together. Is that enough for you to buy one of these? Or do you have to have that ability to play online? Or if you're a Centipede fan and you're like a score chaser, is it okay that you don't have online leaderboards? Is it okay that your leaderboards are just local to your machine at home and you can only compete with people that come over to your house to play? Is that enough for you? Because it's looking like these will not have any Wi-Fi. They will not have online leaderboards. They will not have online play. It's just going to be a lockdown machine with possibly just one game. Like I said, they're getting back to the basics. They are essentially going back to just what made the original Gen 1 cabinets great, which was the artwork, the cabinet design, the practicability of owning a smaller style cabinet like this that still resembles a bigger one, and then having that original arcade ROM. Maybe they had to make some changes to it to get it to come out. But I think that's just those basic aspects of it. That's what they're going for, getting the cost down. And I think this is the right move. You've got a lot of competitors in this space. We're going to talk about a couple of them tonight. And they're just, they're doing way far out there, multi-cades with tons of games on them. Do you really need a cabinet with 10 games on it or even 3 games on it? really you just need the original, right? You just need that original game to play great and it to match that artwork for you to give you that nostalgia, to give you that retro fix that you need. So I think this is, if they do just one game, no online, that's okay. They're working within their means, their abilities as a company, and just producing what they know they can make great. This is Tempest. It doesn't look like this one is going to come in a deluxe that we know of, or a 3/4 scale that we know of. It's looking like this is going to be a countercade. Why they chose Centipede to be the deluxe and the Tempest to be the countercade, we don't know why. But it's got that spinner in there. Depending on the size of this, if that's a full-size spinner, this may be a great way to play your Tempest game. So this one's probably going to be $199. They mentioned prices of $200 to $600. I think this would be your $200 cabinet right here. So that is it, guys, on the Basic Fun Arcade Classics announcement, which was basically announced through this Toy Book article yesterday. You guys can go check it out. I will try and put a link in the description later to this article so you guys can go read it. If you're rewatching the stream later on, you can go take a look at that stuff. But let's take a look at some of these chats that had come in before we move on. Papa Brad's Gaming says, I sent you pics on Messenger of Basic Fun 2-player WrestleFest. Okay, I will have to check that out. Did not know they had that. That's good to know that there's more products coming on the horizon that we have not seen yet. Don't forget about that BOE monitor. So yeah, you have the TN crap monitors. You have the BOE monitors, which, you know, that brings up a good point. Final Fight, the one behind me, has a TN monitor. But I always thought that this one looked good. You guys see? Like, I thought that was a good looking TN monitor. But then there were others that where the TN would just look terrible. Like from the right side, it was completely washed out. So some of them look good, some of them didn't. But the BOE, overall, they've all looked great. So, yeah, good to hear that Arcade went up and moved to those. And then I think with this Basic Fun, these Arcade Classics, they'll follow suit. They'll also be doing the BOE. We don't have word on that, but that'll be part of the topic of discussion again. Kind of a joke, because a lot of what we've been talking about over the last few years will become topic of discussion again. Monitors, controls, licenses, for basically the same products all over again with a different company. Kevgret says they already said no online on any cab, no leaderboards, no Wi-Fi. Hope the PCB doesn't ship with a glitch. Yeah, because there's no way you're going to be able to update it and fix that later. All right, so let's move on, guys. So this next one is kind of, let's see, where are we going to go next? I think I'm going to go next with this G.I. Joel news. So there's a guy named G.I. Joel. He is a gentleman who works out of his garage. He cuts wood. He basically, I guess, shared with everyone he quit his job, and he just cuts wood in his garage full time now. But he's big into Arcade 1-Up and these home arcades and all this stuff. So he wants to get into this market. He wants to basically compete with like Glenn's Retro Show and create like a custom style cabinet. And he had this big live stream where he revealed this like a couple weeks ago. So right before all this news that we knew that Basic Fun was going to come out with these cabinets, I mean, it was like there was nothing to talk about. So I think it kind of rushed G.I. Joel and his friends and the people that support these products to kind of push this out a little soon. I don't think this was really ready to be announced, but they were probably under a lot of pressure because no one knew this Basic Fun stuff was coming. So they had to just get it out there. And I just think that may have been a bad decision because this is what they announced, basically. It's just some wood that's cut in the shape of like a Nintendo style cabinet. And then you kind of do everything else on your own. So you got to bring your own control panel. You got to bring your own monitor. You got to bring your own marquee. You got to bring your own coin door. You know, all this stuff has to be done on your own. So it's not really like a product for like the average consumer. This is more of a product for like that do-it-yourselfer that does like custom style cabinets. And even then, you're going to do a lot of that work yourself. You're really just buying a wooden box, essentially, is what you're doing. But it was really hyped up in like such a way that I thought that it wasn't done the way like it should have been announced. You know, it should first, I think, been finished. There should have been more of a complete project, I think, announced. But also doing it like on a live stream where like trying to get everyone hyped and everyone like, let's go, let's get hyped. Home arcade is back because someone built some wooden pieces. I don't think that's reasonable. And I just kind of saw it as silly. And I mean, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, you know, that was just my initial thought. And I got a lot of criticism for even saying that. Like people were like attacking me. People that have been on this show before, on my channel before, like attacking me, saying some really bad things about like my dog that I haven't even shared that with you guys, but when I'd lost my job, I'd lost my dog, and they were like making fun of me about losing my dog. Talking about how like all my viewers, you guys that watch, only watch because you feel bad for me, like just some crazy shit like that. Just because I said that I wasn't impressed with this product. So just absolutely insane, right? These people in this community that back this stuff. So yeah, that's G.I. Joel's wooden box. I mean, that's about all I can say about it. Now I know, just kind of give James Hates Everything some credit here. You know, he did, oh, sorry guys. Just kind of give James Hates Everything some credit here. You know, this is like a customized one he shared and said, hey, well, look what you guys can do with this. Look at what you guys can create with this wooden box that G.I. Joe has cut for you. And yeah, I agree. I mean, you can do some really cool stuff with it. Absolutely. But it's just not a consumer ready product like what we were talking about with Basic Fun. This is completely customized. You would be lucky to sell like 20 or 30 of these. If you're like going out and trying to get everyone to be interested, just because there's nothing else on the horizon, nothing else is coming out, you have to push stuff like this as some like mass consumer product. I mean, you guys have lost your minds. So, yeah, let's come back to earth. Let's come back to reality. You know, G.I. Joel is not the next big thing. He's not the next big product in home arcade. No matter how big you think your channel is or how important or how big of an influence you think you are, you're not going to make that something that it's not. And that is just a wooden box that has been cut in the shape of a Nintendo cabinet. And let's leave it at that. I mean, that's about all there is to be said about G.I. Joel and his new wooden box. So there you go, guys. I want to talk about Iconic Arcade. Iconic Arcade hit the news this week. I haven't spoken much about them since they initially announced their Street Fighter XXL because I just thought I saw a lot of warning signs, a lot of red flags with this product early on, and kind of separated myself from talking about them, at least in a positive way. And then a lot of the people that initially had supported this XXL Iconic Arcade, you know, kind of went silent and quiet on that. You know, 19 cent, people like that. But here is a payment. This is a customer who pre-ordered the Street Fighter XXL from Iconic Arcade, talking about those red flags. You went to the Iconic Arcade website, and then they sent you to this other website to go pay for it. Well, this other website would only charge you half down, and then they would charge you the other half when the product ships. Okay, so that product hasn't shipped. In fact, it was supposed to come out this month. It's been delayed now till the end of the year. So they weren't supposed to process the second payment till the end of the year. Well, they went ahead and they charged everybody this week, or most people this week or last week, the second half. So that's what you're seeing here. This was James Hates Everything who had posted this. But he basically has said, and this is his comment, we'll just read it word for word. He says, update, VMI has confirmed they are aware of the issue and are investigating. VMI just billed me for the second payment on the Street Fighter II Alpha 2 pre-order, despite product delay and saying the second payment would not be processed until October. So this was supposed to not be processed till it shipped in October. I guess they're going to try to make this right now. People are having to contact VMI to get their money back, but it sounds like people are going to be able to at least get this payment back. But for a lot of people, the damage may have already been done. You know, you're expecting money to be in the bank and you got bills to pay, and then they just willy-nilly just all of a sudden take money out of your account with no warning. You know, that can cause a lot of issues for people. So a lot of the damage may have already been done at this point. It is good that they're going to try and correct it, but man, what a mess. And it was just about a month ago, because I used to watch Super Game Room Dudes every week, and I told everyone in the chat, I was like, get your money back. This was about 3 weeks ago. Told everybody, get your money back. And I wish I had been streaming more often, because I could have just told you guys on air like I'm doing now. But I told you I was going through so much stuff, I wasn't streaming. But was saying it in the chat, you know, get your money back. And Mike B, you know, the Detroit Love, they were like commenting on that, saying like, that's ridiculous. You guys should, you know, keep your money involved in this iconic arcade. It's going to ship at the end of the year. You're going to actually screw yourself. You're end up paying more money later on if you cancel your pre-order. Like, still shilling, still encouraging people to put their money into something that has not shown great signs, and I have very little faith in myself. And just going off my gut instinct to tell people, hey, you know, get your money back. And now look what's happening. They're just charging people's cards for no reason, with no warning, with no product. So looking back on it, you know, who was right, who was wrong? Should you have gotten your money back at that point? Or should you have listened to Mike B and the Super Game Room Dudes and kept your money in there? Because now you're out double that amount and you still don't have your product. So, you know, sometimes just take a look and think, you know, who am I listening to? Why am I listening to these people? Why am I taking their advice? You know, I could go and pull clips and show you guys proof of all this stuff, but I don't have time for that. I don't want to devote time to that stuff. You know, just listen and make your own decisions, and hopefully you guys can see things for what they are. But so that's Iconic Arcade, basically charging everybody early when they shouldn't have. So there you go. So next, what I want to talk about is I want to talk about the X Arcade. X Arcade has had a really good start. You know, since this product hit the market about a year ago, and it's not X Arcade, they've been in business a long time. It's their new product, which we call the Arcade 2 TV / HR full bundle, which they got to pick a new name. That's a terrible name for this product. But outside of that, everything else is awesome. You know, this is a great arcade machine. It's giving you the buttons, the sticks. It gives you the trackball and the pinball buttons on the side, and you can basically hook this up to like a full screen TV and you can play your arcade games on it. Well, then they had partnered with Zen, and now you can play all your VR pinball games in VR with the pinball buttons on the X Arcade. So everything has really been going their way. They've been making this amazing product. People are really starting to learn about it. They're thinking, oh man, I got to get one of these. They're not too bad. They're $299 without the stand, $399 with the stand. But the one thing everybody has really been wanting, something that everyone has really been just hoping and praying that they make, is like a pinball kit. Some way that you can get haptic feedback, you can get a plunger, you can get, you know, the nudging. Also, the nudging was very important because we're using the MetaQuest thumbstick to nudge the machine, and it's just not very accurate. It doesn't always work all the time. So this X Arcade, this machine has been not only amazing because it gives you the pinball buttons, it gives you the sense of holding a real pinball machine while you're in VR, rather than holding those holding those MetaQuest joysticks or those whatever you call those things. But yeah, so rather than holding those, you've got like an actual machine in front of you with pinball buttons, a physical, like thing that you can hold on to. But it's missing all this. It's missing the feedback. It's missing the nudging. It's missing the plunger. Well, they officially announced just a couple of days ago, and this was thanks to Kevgred. He was the one who actually had posted this first, or I'd heard about it from first, was they have officially announced a pinball kit that is, in fact, indeed coming. And we'll read here what's included: a real plunger, natural nudging sensor, and built-in haptics. So everything we've been wanting, everything we asked for, they delivered on. And they are, in fact, bringing this to us. So great for them, great for X Arcade to bring us not only a pinball kit, but a pinball kit that has everything we asked for in it. So this is the full email right here. It says the pinball upgrade kit is almost here. We're making the experience even more true to life. What's included is you get an upgraded back panel with speaker. You get, so that's cool. You're getting an extra speaker like on the machine itself. You're getting a real plunger mechanism. So just like we have plungers on our pinball machines, or even our arcade one-up pinball machine or your ACT games, we're going to have one of those now on the X Arcade control panel. Natural nudging sensor. So it didn't say just nudging sensor. It says a natural nudging sensor. So, these Joy-Cons, these things that the MetaQuest comes with that you hold, they're wireless, and the nudging just isn't very accurate. It doesn't always work. It sounds like from this kit, natural means to me like they're going to improve it. They're going to make it better. They're going to make it seem more natural when you're actually nudging the machine. It actually does what a real, pinball machine would do when you make that motion, or you do that force against the control panel. So that's awesome. And then a built-in haptics kit. So it's going to rumble. It's going to give you that feedback when you're playing. Just more immersive. So one of the great things about this pinball VR is just how immersive it is, and how well they did the 3D feel of the games, and how you really feel like you're standing in front of a machine. I mean, the graphics still aren't perfect, but it really looks good, and it really feels great when you're playing these tables. And I uploaded some shorts in the last week if you guys want to check those out. Those are the new Williams tables, the volume 1, 2, and 3. So you were getting all these really great pinball tables. The only thing a lot of us are missing is this X Arcade, this ability to hold something physically that feels like a pinball table. We can't see it, but we can feel it. That's what we've been missing. And with this kit, you're going to get it all. You're going to get the pinball buttons. You're going to get that feedback, that rumble in the machine. You're going to get the plunger when you want to physically use the plunger. And hopefully that plunger will be exactly in place of what you're seeing in VR, because supposedly all this stuff is sensed by the headset, and it can tell you, and it'll all account for that. So that should feel natural. And then to be able to have all these features is just awesome. Now, price, we still don't know a price. What we do know is that there is going to be a pre-order for this, which will be in July of 2025. So they're saying estimated pre-order. So you can expect here in just a couple of months for that pre-order to hopefully roll out. And then it'll ship in October. So with plenty of time for Christmas, you should have this kit. For now, there is no pinball edition of the X Arcade. So you'll have to buy this separately from the X Arcade. And we don't know a price on that yet. I've speculated it's going to be $200. And then they're going to do a pinball edition version of the X Arcade, which is basically what we're seeing here, the full bundle, but have the pinball kit already pre-installed. Maybe even give us some visual touches, like some new artwork on the control panel or something that fits pinball, and then sell that for $500. That's what I'm predicting is going to happen, is a pinball edition of the X Arcade, arcade to TV -XR full bundle pinball edition. Which, like I said, they need to rework that name. They need to figure out something, because that 2TV -XR is just not working. And it's such a great product, and they're growing so fast. They can make these changes now before they really boom, and you start seeing these things in the store. because I think that's the next step. Is you're going to walk into Best Buy, you're going to start seeing these next to the VR headsets, and they're going to have displays set up where you can try it out and all that. That's all coming, because that's how great of a setup this really is, and how awesome of an experience we're going to be getting with this new pinball kit. For me, I don't own the X Arcade yet. I did reach out to them about a review unit. Still haven't heard back on that. So I'm like I told you guys, I'm going to be purchasing one of these. But knowing this news, knowing that the pinball kit is coming, I'm probably going to wait until this releases in October and see if they do like that pinball edition. Because I would like to get it all in one package and not have to install it later. And hopefully save some money in the process would be great too. Calvin Wong, he's saying it's for do-it-yourself. Glenn's stuff is do-it-yourself too. So if you want to buy it, it's not for everyone. I think that's a great point. It's not going to be for everyone. That I think was my point too, is that this is less, like G.I. Joe's product is less for everyone than like the basic fun cabinets are. So to present them as like everyone in the community just needs to really back this product, and either you love it, or if you don't like it, you know, we're going to oust you and we're going to treat you like crap if you don't like it. That's just ridiculous. This product is not meant for everyone. It's less so meant for everyone than anything I've ever seen be announced in that way. So people need to realize that. And especially, you know, with the news we got this week, I mean, it's even less relevant than it was, you know, a week ago. But yeah, I get your point, Calvin. Thanks for the comment. Kevin's saying, I canceled my pre-order a while back because they weren't communicating and we didn't know the final details of the cabinet. So that's awesome, Kevin. You have canceled your pre-order on that iconic arcade right before they charged everybody. That's great to hear. Mikey Ewan says, hey, Biggie D, who convinced you to get the silicone face mask? So Mikey, he did convince me to get this. It's like a breathable mesh face mask interface for the MetaQuest, and it works wonders. So much cooler, so much more comfortable to wear, and it was only like $35. Awesome deal. Thanks for the suggestion. Kevgret says, thank God for X Arcade. They listen to the community. Absolutely. That is why we got this new pinball kit, is they've listened exactly to what we needed, what we wanted, and that's what we're getting, and that's what we love to see. Biggie D, thanks for playing every week in Retro Legends Arcade Pinball Tournament. I'm going to be playing this week as well. And this week is Xena Warrior Princess, which is one of my favorite VR games, pinball VR tables. So looking forward to the tournament this week. Thank you. All right, so we've talked about a lot of home arcade. We talked about the new basic fun cabinets coming. We talked about G.I. Joe's wooden box. We've talked about the X Arcade. Let's talk about Glenn's FU. Let's follow the wooden box up with Glenn's FU. So this is officially actually going to become available to us through a pre-order, which will be through Kickstarter. So if you guys have not heard yet, starting this month, hopefully here very soon, you're going to be able to pre-order the FU Arcade from Glenn. You're going to be able to customize it in the way that you want. Controls, marquees, screen size, all those things are going to be available to you, and you're going to be able to back it through the Kickstarter here very soon, probably within the next week. Yep, Calvin Wong, we're doing Xena Warrior Princess this week for the Retro Legends Arcade Pinball Tournament. So this will be interesting to see when this rolls out. You know, what options are we going to have available to us? What are those final prices going to be? We know it's going to be about $1,000. And then if you get that 26-inch monitor, which is like this really great monitor that Unico has put out, it's going to bring that price up to like $1,200, $1,300 probably. And then you can get swappable control panels. So there's a lot you're going to be able to do with this. And I think that's another thing with this do-it-yourself, Calvin. You know, talking about how Glenn's is a do-it-yourself as well. It's very different in that he's going to have all these parts available for you to order with the machine. So it's all going to come in one, you know, box or multiple boxes, but it'll come with instructions on how to put it all together, how to, you know, put these new control panels in. It's just more ready out of the box, even though it is still custom. it is still, not going to be mass produced on a level of like Arcade 1-Up or At Games. This is still a little more consumer ready, or I should say a lot more consumer ready than the wooden box was. So definitely support Glenn and what he's doing with this. I think it's been great how he's rolled it out, how he's been giving us a little bit of information over these last 6 months. And now the time has finally come. We're going to be able to pre-order this thing this month through a Kickstarter. So congratulations, Glenn, GRS Products. I think you've got a really great product on your hand that is coming to market that we can be excited about. And just can't wait to see how well it does. I'm going to do the wait and see approach. I do that a lot with these arcades, but definitely think I'm going to do the wait and see approach with his because mainly the price and then the size. This is a huge arcade. This would be on the size of the XXL, but even bigger. This is like a full-size cabinet design that Glenn's putting out. And I have very little room, if none, right now to work with until I get rid of some stuff. So this would be a slow process for me to buy one of these. I'm not going to run out and get one, mostly due to the cost and the size of it. But outside of that, everything's great. It would be 100% up my alley if it weren't for those two reasons. So we're going to talk a little bit about At Games because I had caught this on Papa Brad's Discord. If you guys joined, he had shared these. So we got some June calendar, empty calendar for At Games. I mean, this is one of the most empty calendars I've ever seen them put out since they had started doing these. Not much to talk about. You got some Flipper Friends tournaments. You've got some new pricing, which is effective on the 10th. So here in about a week, I think they're going to raise the prices even more than they already have. And then we're going to get a Future World in-house developed pinball table and a Soccer Kings in-house developed At Games pinball table on the 12th and the 26th of June. So not a lot to talk about on that calendar. But there was some other things in there that I thought were interesting. Here's a look at those two new tables. So Future World and Soccer Kings are coming. But these are going to be those Zachariah Magic Pixel in-house developed tables. I wouldn't get your hopes up too high on these tables unless you're just, super fan of those style and those games. But like I've been hearing with their most recent one, the Native American ones, the Rapid game, it wasn't very good. A lot of issues with like the mechanics and how it plays and just the ball not rolling how it should. But this I thought was big news. So this, how they had lost Zen. They had announced that the Tomb Raider pinball tables were coming. And, that Zen was basically going to stop giving At Games tables to release for a period of time because they had prematurely announced Tomb Raider prior to its announcement through Zen. So they leaked it without authorization, and that cost them. Over these last several months, they haven't been putting out any new Zen tables. But we did get word today, actually, that they are excited to announce that they are resuming the Zen Studios pinball tables starting this month. So you can expect them to start producing and releasing new ones for the 4KP. Now, which ones those will be, we don't know. And when those will be coming, we don't know. And we don't know prices. But I will tell you, expect higher prices, expect less tables than they would have gotten from Zen, and probably not all the best releases. Like they may not even get Tomb Raider like they were supposed to prior. They could, but they may not now. So I would expect less releases, higher prices from Zen for the At Games, and probably not the marquee games. They probably aren't going to get their pick of the litter. They're going to get what they're given, basically, because of the issues and the things that they have done to cause that. So I think the ideal way to play these pinball tables is going to be in VR. Like I said, I just think this is the way to play them. It's more of an immersive experience. When you're standing over it, it's got more of a 3D depth feel to it, like a real pinball table would. Also, it's less cost because you just have to really invest in the headset, which the headset you can get for like $300. The X Arcade you can get for like $300, and then you can pay $30 for all the Williams packs. So you get 3 Williams packs for like $24 is what I paid. So you're paying a fraction of the price for each of the tables. And, you know, instead of doing the Flipper Friends tournaments, participate in Papa Brad's Retro Legends tournaments that he has every week. You know, I think you can get just involved with the community for a lot less and have a much better experience with the VR headset, the MetaQuest, the Pinball FX VR, as well as the X Arcade. I think the X Arcade is very important as well, because that's the one part I'm missing, is to have those controls, those physical controls. Because even though you're in this virtual reality world, you got those Joy-Cons in your hand, and it's just not right. This is the one thing you're missing, are the buttons, the joysticks, the trackball, the pinball buttons, and then all this the pinball kit's going to give us, which is the plunger, the haptic feedback. All those things are coming as well. So, I mean, this is just the ultimate way to play your virtual, or to play virtual pinball, is in VR with the X Arcade. No doubt about it. I think over these last few months, that's been proven. Like, and it's all the people that have reviewed these, positive reviews. People are just really, and it's not just the reviews coming out and then it just crickets after that. I mean, people are continuing to talk about it. The community is continuing to grow behind Pinball FX VR, and it's great to see. Now, something really cool is going to be the Tomb Raider pinball, which is coming out this month. So be prepared for 2 tables, which are going to be dropping through Zen. These will be available for all major platforms, but they'll be getting it in VR, is these new Tomb Raider pinball. These are exclusively developed by Zen for all the platforms. It was advertised to be coming out on the At Games 4KP, but like I said, there's still no word that are they going to get it or are they not going to get it. But if I had to lean one way or the other, I would lean after them leaking this early, way too early, without authorization. I think it's in Zen's best interest, and I think it will be how it plays out is At Games does not get the Tomb Raider pinball tables like they were supposed to get. That's just a prediction, so we'll see if I'm right about that. But just my gut instinct, that's what it's telling me, is to tell you guys, don't expect to get Tomb Raider on your 4KP, on your At Games, but be ready to play it in VR, because that's going to be the best place to play it anyways, and that's where I'll be playing it. But yeah, these are the Williams tables. I dropped some shorts last week of each, at least one table featured in each volume 1, 2, and 3. But these are all the best Williams tables. I've gotten a little bit of time with each of them now over the last couple weeks since I streamed with you guys last time. And I just love playing these tables, and I love being a part of the tournaments. Attack from Mars was the tournament last week. This week, we're going to be going to Xena, which is part of the Universal Classics TV Classics pack. But I'm sure these Williams tables will be, you know, every other week or almost every week going forward. So, and there's a lot to choose from. As you guys can see, we've got 9 new Williams pinball tables to play that have dropped. And that's in addition to the ones we already had, which was the Star Trek, the Indiana Jones, the Addams Family, and then the soccer, World Cup soccer. So a lot to play in VR, you know, and this is early on. They're just pumping these tables out. So I'm just looking forward to when's the next announcement. When is Williams Pack 4, 5, and 6 going to drop? Because that could be any day now. And then what I would really like to see is I would like to see them bring us, I would really like to see them bring us the Marvel. Star Wars was great, but we've already gotten Star Wars in VR, so maybe that won't happen so soon. But Marvel would be great to see in VR. Are a huge collection of Marvel pinball tables coming to the Pinball FX platform here very soon. Pinball FX VR platform very soon, I think. So just talking VR here, let's see if we got any comments. Kev Grit saying that calendar is bare. Absolutely, probably the least amount of information I've seen on a calendar. They could have almost pulled that idea for this month to even have a calendar because there was not much to announce. Kevin says, that's true, but I'm hoping people will make tutorials so I can see the setup of Glenn's FU. I've never had an arcade with the quality screen and controls, etc. So I've got a similar screen in my iArcade that I replaced with the Buy Stuff BOE 19-inch. And then I've got his control panel, his ultimate control panel. And I'll say I love the setup. I love it. It's just like perfect way to have play and have a multi-cade is to use Glenn's products to build that. So to be able to get it directly from him like that and be able to get it all shipped to you, I think that's awesome, you know, what he's been able to accomplish. And it's finally come. Pre-orders are going to start this month. Kev Grit says, wow, same old Zachariah tables, LOL. What's my opinion on John Wagner leaving At Games? So I don't think At Games is doing very well. I think they're struggling mightily right now. And what's bad for them is they don't have the licenses like Arcade 1-Up did. So Arcade 1-Up had all these exclusive licenses that John D helped them get, which now they're able to leverage and now use to help keep them in business, I think, with Basic Fun. At Games really doesn't have that available to them in that way. So they have less to lean on. And they also have a very expensive product to begin with the 4KB. And then it's also manufactured in China. And now they got to ship those things from China with the tariffs. It's just everything came at them at one time. And this is kind of a result of that, is really talented people that had come on board are now leaving, whether that be, you know, by their own, you know, count, like their own reasoning, they want to leave on their own, or the company's having to lay them off because they just can't afford them anymore. We don't know. But I would lean to they just can't afford these people anymore. And John was laid off due to economic downturn, like a lot of companies are dealing with. Like the company who laid me off was dealing with an economic downturn. That's what At Games is going through right now, a reduction in workforce. And this was a small company to begin with. So just imagine how much smaller they are now and less resources, less ability to make great stuff. So I just don't think it looks good for At Games. And that is a large part to do with their own decisions. They had plenty of time to, you know, move a lot of production overseas to the U.S. They sold to mostly the U.S., so it would have made sense to at least move some of it over. And they just didn't take the warning signs. They stuck with the business model they had, and now they're paying for it. Mike Cockert says, oh, snap, Monday night stream. Didn't know this was happening. So, yeah, just random. I was going to stream last night, but there's just a lot going on. I was enjoying my Sunday. And I was like, why am I going to just stop everything I'm doing to stream? I'd created all the slides, all the content to talk about. I just wasn't feeling it. Why not wait a night and do it on Monday night? Also, that's kind of how I'm going to start running the channel, is just I'm going to start doing this just more of when it's convenient. Quit running it more so like a business and more so just for fun. And that's going to be part of it, is I'll just stream randomly from now on. I'll try to keep it to Sundays if I can, but I'm also going to switch it up every once in a while. Papa Brad's Gaming says the X Arcade has a Bluetooth dongle that will transmit from the Quest 3 to the X Arcade. Very cool. So just talking about VR gaming, Pinball VR is amazing. But I've also been playing a lot of other pinball games, or not pinball, VR games as well. So one of the VR games I've been spending a lot of time in the last couple of weeks is this Horizon for the PSVR 2. This was one of the games that it came with my headset. So I didn't initially jump into it. I was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. But I finally have really sunk a lot of time into it. And I'm about 63% done with the campaign. So I'm more than halfway through it now. And even though it's only about an 8 to 10 hour campaign, it takes a little longer to beat these games because you have to go through the process of putting the headset on, making sure that, you know, your eyes are aligned, making sure you have space in your room. So the whole setup and breakdown takes time. So I wouldn't be surprised if it takes me, 15 hours to beat this game with the whole VR aspect of it. But it's so awesome. Like when I go into this world, like I'm big into hiking, I'm big into mountain climbing as it is. This just gives me such a rush, like when I'm climbing and I'm doing the rock climbing in this game. Because if you're scared of heights and you get that feeling in your stomach when you're at great heights and you're looking over ledges and stuff, this game will give you that feeling. But also the boss battles are like super fun. You got these huge, massive bosses that you're fighting, and you've got all these weapons at your disposal, and it's just a ton of fun to the combat. So the mountain climbing, the climbing is a ton of fun. The boss battles are a ton of fun. It's a long game. It's visually probably the best VR game I have ever seen. So I'm having a ton of fun with it. And like I said, I'm almost halfway through it. Shouldn't be much longer before I beat it. Probably 3 or 4 more hours and I'll have it beat. And I'll let everyone know when I do. But man, this is a fun one. So other VR games, though, that I'm excited about has got to be this TMNT game that just dropped. The announcement for it was dropped this week, and it's basically a VR game that's going to be exclusive to the MetaQuest. I think it'll also release on Steam as well, so you can play it on your PC through another VR headset. But it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in VR. So we don't really know much about it outside of, you know, what we just saw in that teaser, but you're going to be able to play as all the Ninja Turtles. It looks like you're going to get to use all the weapons. So the swords, the staff, the nunchucks, and then Raphael's, what are those called? Katanas or whatever. You're going to get to play with all these weapons. And I'm sure they're going to be a lot of fun because like how they use the weapons in the cartoons, in the comics, in the video games, you'll be doing in VR and you'll be reenacting that. And of course, you'll probably be fighting the Foot Clan, and that'll be a ton of fun. And Splinter will be guiding you, I'm sure, throughout the whole game. And Shredder will probably be the final boss. I cannot wait for this. I was a huge TMNT fan growing up. Still am a huge fan of this franchise today. And just to be able to get this into VR, it just, you know, everything's really coming full circle for VR now, guys. We've got Batman. We've got, you know, some of the other major AAA games I've been playing were like that Horizon I told you, the Metro Awakening, which I've played that game all the way through, beat it. You know, these are big-time franchises, big-time licenses that are coming to VR. We're starting to see that now where they're turning that corner, and we're starting to see big-name licenses. So I would say start to expect anything and everything to come to VR now here in the near future. I still think that Nintendo is behind the game on their VR. They should have already had a VR headset, I think, for the Switch 2, which unfortunately was not announced. But like that's one big player I'd like to see get into VR is Nintendo. Them do their Virtual Boy 2 or whatever they want to call it, and have all the Nintendo, the Mario games in VR. You know, that's, I feel like what we're missing now is just that competition. You know, I definitely MetaQuest is winning that competition against PlayStation right now. But like I told you, I really love the PlayStation headset. I think the visuals are the best. Some of the games are the best on it. But the convenience of the MetaQuest headset, it all being completely wireless, being able to take it off, play it more conveniently, has really, I think, won a lot of consumers and why it's winning the race. But you get Nintendo in there and they come in and they, you know, they can really mix things up and I think make everything a lot better as well. So we'll see what happens with VR coming up, but all good signs, I'll tell you that. And a lot of fun to be had if you guys haven't bought one yet. Calvin Wong says this must be for PD7, the TMNT. If he hadn't gotten a VR headset yet, he definitely should, especially with the TMNT game. And then the Marvel Pinball VR would be a game changer. Absolutely. All right, guys, so I want to get into kind of in the stream with a little bit of movie talk with you guys to kind of wrap things up tonight. So in the movie, we talked about Superman the last stream, but what I want to talk about this stream is I want to talk about the Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars movies getting delayed. So they have been working now on Avengers Doomsday. It has been in production, I think, for about a month when they did the chair reveal, where they were basically showing off all the actors that are going to be in this movie and letting everyone know that it is now in production. And what's been huge is you're getting the Fantastic Four movie coming out next month. They're all going to be in the new Avengers movie, so that full cast. as well as all the X-Men from the Fox universe, X-Men movies. So you name it. Cyclops, Jean Grey, Professor X, Magneto, of course Wolverine. We've already seen Hugh Jackman. They still haven't said if Storm is coming back, but I'm sure she will. And then, Rogue, hopefully they get all the Fox universe back in. So there's been a real big build up to this movie because they're going to be including the X-Men. It's going to be like a Avengers versus X-Men movie, but then Doomsday is the villain. And we all know who Doomsday is going to be. This is going to be Iron Man, but basically Iron Man from a new universe, I think from Fantastic Four's universe, is Doomsday. So get ready for a new villain. And that really all happened mainly because it didn't work out for that actor who was going to be the main villain for Avengers. He just got in a real bad domestic dispute, and they basically got rid of that actor. And they're going back to Robert Downey Jr., what worked for them, and Iron Man, and getting him back into these movies. And, Iron Man died, so why not bring him back as a different character? And they had decided to bring him back as Doomsday. So he's your villain. But this was early on, about a month ago, image of when they are all getting together originally for the production of this movie. And we can see Thor will be in it. Channing Tatum, so Gambit from the Deadpool and Wolverine movies. If you like the Shang-Chi movies, he's going to be in it. We've got Ant-Man, and then we've got the Fantastic Four, The Thing, Sue Storm, as well as we've got some Black Panther representation in the movie as well. And then also the new Captain America, which it was the Falcon, which we just, got introduced to him as Captain America in the most recent movie for him. So that's your cast now for this, or at least the major cast, the main cast that they've been promoting so far is what we saw in the photo. But there's going to be a lot more actors they're going to be adding to this movie as deals are signed, as money is worked out. They're going to be adding more people. So expect to see, more actors announced here over the next, probably several months during its production. But one thing I wanted to mention was that this movie was supposed to come out in May of next year, so less than a year from now. Well, the movie had gotten delayed to December, so we're looking at, let's take a look at those images again of our new dates. December 18th, 2026 for Doomsday, and December 17th, 2027 for Secret Wars. So not a huge delay, only about 6 months or so. So not terrible, but I think this is a good sign in that, movie's into full production. It's going to be a really good movie. They're just taking a little bit of extra time to probably work out some deals to get some actors involved that they want in the movie. Also probably fine-tuning the script, just making this like an Avengers level movie that we expect to see, because Marvel has had a really difficult time over the last year or two. Their movies have not done well. Like the most recent Captain America Brave New World didn't do well. The Thunderbolts movie has not done well. Fantastic Four is left to be seen if it will. I think it has the best hope that it will. I think Fantastic Four is by far, probably the best movie we're going to get from them out of these most recent three. But even the viewers that have seen this movie early on, that have had test screenings, have said the movie's got some issues. So, they really got to hit it out of the park with this Avengers. It needs to be perfect, like we expect from them and what we've gotten from them in the past with these level of movies. And that's what I think this whole delay is a part of. It's just reworking, fine-tuning things to give us just that ultimate Avengers level production that we expect. So December 2026, so about a year and a half from now, this movie will be released. But we do have like some early set photos, some things I can share with you guys, Like here's just like an image on the set of Doomsday. Looks like they're going to go with like the classic Doomsday look, which I think get back to the roots, get back to the basics, like what Arcade Went Up and Basic Fun is doing, getting back to those basics. Same thing as what Marvel is doing with their movies, and they're just going to go back to what the comic books were traditional, rather than going with like these futuristic suits with all these lights and, you know, all this futuristic look. Just go back to what like it looked like in the comic. What did Doomsday look like in the comic book? And it looks like that's exactly what they've gone with in this set photo. So I would expect, you know, that to happen for everyone. You know, to expect Cyclops in his blue suit, to expect Jean Grey in her tight, you know, suit showing off, you know, her assets. You know, Storm looking just like you see in the comic books. Gambit, of course, we got a preview of that in the Wolverine movie, but expect him to look great. And then also on the Avengers side, hopefully, you know, reworking a lot of those costumes and what we expected to see from them, maybe getting back to what their classic, you know, superhero costumes look like as well. Also, another thing to mention, you know, the actor who played Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, he died. So they're talking that in Avengers, they're finally going to bring him back, but it's either going to be his son as the new Black Panther or maybe a new Black Panther from another universe. So they can get that, at least that character back into the storyline. So expect those things. But there is one Marvel showing off her assets. Yes, I used to love Rogue growing up, and I used to love drawing her, that character, because she'd have those huge boobs, that huge ass, and she was always the one that was like going after like relationships with Wolverine and Cyclops in the cartoons. She just was like a sexy character. So be good. Hope they got to do her justice, I think, in the new Avengers movie. But one movie that's going to drop, so it's not all bad news, not all delays for Marvel. Marvel is working with Sony on the new Spider-Man Brand New Day movie, and that is going to come out sooner. It'll come out July 31st, 2026, so just a little bit over a year from now. This movie has not actually hit production, but it's about to here any week now. They're going to start making this movie, but Spider-Man Brand New Day looks really good. What they're doing with it, it's going to have Gwen Stacy in it. They're bringing back Spider-Man just as we know him. So you know, expect a lot of what we've seen in the previous movies, but also they have it named Brand New Day. So I'd expect a lot of, you know, new things, a lot of innovation, a lot of changes, creativity, and what we expect from Spider-Man too. I don't think it's going to be just a continuation of the first three movies. I think they're going to definitely be expanding on the story, but also doing different things with it. One big thing we've learned is, you know, how they always bring in one major Marvel character for each Spider-Man movie. In the first one, it was Iron Man. In the second one, it was Mysterio, but also it was the eye patch guy, Samuel L. Jackson's character, which is in the Punisher arcade game, which is the other character in the Punisher arcade game, which I should know, but I can't tell you right now. But he was in the second one, Far From Home. And then the last one, the most recent Spider-Man movie, they had made that one Doctor Strange. So there's been like a major Marvel hero in each one. Whether that be the first one with Iron Man, whether it be with Doctor Strange in the last one, or Samuel L. Jackson in that second one. You know, Marvel, Disney has always allowed Sony to give Spider-Man one major character for each of its movies. In return, they're giving Spider-Man that character to Avengers. So expect to see Spider-Man in Avengers. But what they're doing with Brand New Day is they're going to allow the Hulk. So that was the big news this week, was that the Hulk will be a part of this new Spider-Man movie, which is like talking about getting back to the roots of the comics. That was one of the biggest like versus battles, you know, you would see with Spider-Man, is Spider-Man versus Hulk. A lot of team ups between these two characters, a lot of battles between these two characters. So to finally get that on the big screen, I think is huge. These two characters just really mix and gel really well. Something about the green and the red and the Hulk and the Spider-Man together, it really all comes together in the comics. And I really expect that to happen on the big screen as well with this new movie. So I think they made the right move in bringing the Hulk on board for this. Also, they can really set up the Avengers Doomsday movie now, because they've got, before Doomsday was going to come out in May, Spider-Man was going to come out in July. Now Spider-Man's coming out in July. Avengers now following it in December. They can really set up the Avengers Doomsday movie with Spider-Man Brand New Day. So I would expect a lot of Avengers setup in this movie as well, July next summer. So really excited for this movie, what's going to come with it, what they're going to do with it. I think it was a great decision in order to bring the Hulk in for that, main Marvel character, Disney character for Sony's universe and their Spider-Man movies. So really cool, great to see. Excited for what they're going to be doing with that movie. Yeah, so that's going to be my movie news for tonight. I just thought this was a cool photo here I was going to share with you guys. Spider-Man Brand New Day. This was just like a fan-made photo, but looks cool. That's kind of what you can expect to see. Just something about that Spider-Man with Hulk in the background, just that huge character and the mix of these two. They just really gel and they go together great. So I would expect this to be the best Spider-Man movie we've seen, and they're going to do it justice. It's going to be great. Oh, Calvin Wong says, get Edward Norton as the Hulk. Absolutely. How cool would that be? You know how they did that with Spider-Man? They brought back all the old actors, right? I just think it'd be really cool if they could do that with the Hulk. Bring back Edward Norton. Bring back the first Hulk from that one from 2000s. They could do that, and it would be really cool. I love Edward Norton as an actor. I hate to see that he had left the cast and never became part of what Marvel had plans for. But he was just asking for too much money, I think. But now they could certainly afford to bring him back. Nick Fury. I could not remember Nick Fury for all the characters. I just couldn't remember that name. Thank you. So yeah, you had, what was it? Spider-Man Homecoming had Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. And then we had Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury in Far From Home. And then the last Spider-Man, man, was that the main character, like the hero was Doctor Strange, but we got all the villains from the past Sony Spider-Man movies, as well as we got all the past Spider-Man characters from the Sony movies. Hopefully they're doing something similar. They're setting up something similar with this one with the Hulk. You may be onto something, Calvin, with the Edward Norton. So that's going to be about it, guys. Got a little bit of sports talk, a little bit of movie talk, had a whole lot of home arcade talk, between Basic Fun. Are you guys excited about the new Basic Fun WrestleFest, the Centipede, the Tempest countercades? Are you excited about those products? Or are you really big into the Pinball FX VR and the X Arcade? Is that how you're getting your gaming in? Or are you more the custom guy and you're ready for Glenn's FU? Or you're ready to build something pretty much from scratch using G.I. Joel's wooden box? What are you most excited about? But one thing I can say is home arcade is back, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Get hyped. Home arcade is back, baby. We are back. We've got everything that was missing, plus even more coming on the horizon. We've got big things to think about and to talk about and to be excited about. So I hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's live stream. Thanks for hanging out with Biggie D's Arcade. Let's go out with a couple of chats here. Kevin Clausen says, I want a MK2 movie trailer. It's long overdue. Absolutely love the first MK movie that came out recently. Expanding on that with the MK2 is going to be really great. Mortal Kombat 2 movie. Time for us to have some basic fun, LOL. Get back to the basics, guys. Thor KC says, I loved Edward Norton as the Hulk, but ironically, I felt like Jennifer Connelly seemed like a real person in the middle of a comic book movie, and that just didn't feel right for me. But I love that Hulk movie with Edward Norton. I thought it was really good. And that's really what got Marvel. Of course, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man really got things moving for them, but the Hulk was their first try at it once Disney acquired Marvel. So that's really where it all started, was that Edward Norton Hulk movie. But all right, guys, so can't think of anything else I want to mention tonight, but get your money back on the Iconic Arcade if you can, and use that money for Glenn's Kickstarter. I think that is your better purchase there, is the FU Arcade. And we'll be talking about all this stuff coming up in future streams, guys. You guys have a great night. And thank you for watching. I'll see everyone in the next one. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.